Hello, it's Debbie Gilbert from the Business Awards Show, and I'm also the founder of the Best Business Women Awards and the Best SME Awards. And today I am joined by Patricia Muirhead, who is the founder and CEO of the Ashdon Jazz Academy, a wonderful, wonderful charity who are supporting and empowering young women aged 11 to 21 with making better choices in life and also helping them with their mental health. And it's an incredibly positive charity that does such incredible work in the South London area. And Patricia won our Gold Award for Charity Champion in the Best Business Women Awards in 2025. She has won some other awards as well, so we'll talk a bit about that. But today we're going to talk about the charity, the work and the impact of the charity, and what things that they've got coming up this year. So, welcome, Trisha.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Debbie, for having me. Really excited about being here. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, it's lovely to see you again because the last time I saw you, you were clutching your gold award,
Yes,
standing
I
on
was.
stage.
Very
I think you were a
excited.
little bit shocked. You were a little,
Very shocked. Very
yeah.
shocked. Yeah, extremely shocked.
So
Yeah, but
tell us about the Ashdon Jazz Academy and what started the charity and what it's all about.
okay. Well, back in 2014, November the 15th, I remember it very clearly. I sadly lost my daughter, Ashton Jazz, tragically to suicide. It was completely unexpected, something that I didn't plan for. I don't think any parent ever plans for that. Um, Not prepared for at all. And I was thrown into turmoil, really. And when I decided to get out of the bed, I think about 6 or 7 months afterwards, that I needed to do something positive in legacy of Ashton. She was a very charismatic, a very lively young woman. She was a bit of an advocate. Anybody that was, downtrodden, etc., she'd be the one standing up and defending them. And I just felt that it was something that I know that she would have wanted me to do, in her honour, to help other young women possibly make other choices, better choices, for them to understand there's a hope, there's a future, there's other alternatives if they ever felt like they needed to take that route. And I just remember just what my family had gone through after losing Ashton. And I just felt, I just would not want another parent to go through that. So if there's anything that I could do in my capacity, as Ashton's mum, I wanted to ensure that, number one, her legacy was kept going. We remembered her in a positive light. And also, if we could prevent another family going through that, was my main thing. So I decided that I was going to start a Passion Jazz Academy. And it would be solely to support young women, 11 to 21, living in our kind of southeast area, who were experiencing kind of mental health difficulties, bullying, a range of different emotional difficulties. And I just felt that it was something that we could help and support them through and get them through to the other side. And that's what I did.
Well, you make it sound very simple, but I'm sure it wasn't. So you kind of come from a background of being a teacher, didn't you?
Yes,
So
I did. Yeah.
you're balancing this tragic loss in your life with your background as being a teacher. And I'm assuming as a teacher, you'd seen firsthand how some young women were being affected by the current environments that they were in.
Yeah, I mean, in schools in general, a lot of stuff is placed on academic stuff. Passing, you getting your maths, your English. A lot of it is that's very heavily focused on academic stuff, and sometimes I feel that there's not necessarily a lot being necessarily targeted or done to support them in their personal and social stuff, and also their emotional development. Um, and that takes real specialism. I think sometimes, you kind of, as a teacher, that's something that you have to be really focused on trying to raise, because there is a lot of pressure, uh, around the academic side and getting, students through exams and all of that. And sometimes there's not enough. And now currently there's a lot being done around mental health for young people in schools, but back then there wasn't too much being done, around mental health. But now it's really flagged up because they see that there's so many young people, women, boys, that are being severely impacted by mental health and poor mental health. So, in schools, yeah, we see it, and it was nice, and that's why I felt that I needed to step out of school and education to be able to really make a difference.
Mm,
Because I was teaching at the time, and Ashton passed away. I was assistant head teacher, and I had a whole team of staff. But I just felt like I needed to step out of that to be able to really get down, grassroots level, and kind of not have that big emphasis around academic stuff. But I could go, do you know what? Let's strip this back. Let's go right back down to basics. Let's go right back down to the individual young person and find out what's their problem, what's triggering them, why are they doing certain things, how is it manifesting, how's poor mental health, emotional difficulty, where has that come from, what's the root cause, because you don't have the time for that in schools.
no,
It's all
no.
about getting them through. So yeah.
So what sort of programs does your charity deliver?
So we deliver the one-to-one mentoring. So what that is that the young woman, we match her with a trained mentor, and what that trained mentor does is would meet with her once a week, and literally just for that young person to download, because sometimes young people just need to be listened to.
Mm.
They just need you to hear what they have to say. And a lot of the time we have young women who come to us who are waiting for CAMS assessments or, other interventions. And they come to us and they spend the year with their mentor, and it just resolves itself, because a lot of the time they just needed somebody to go, you are important. I'm going to spend valuable time with you, and you can share anything at all with me. And sometimes it's just being listened to and being valued. A lot of our young people come to us for looked after. So we get a lot of young people who are coming through by a statutory organisation. And again, they've had issues of abandonment. They're not sure where they are. And it's just sometimes that one secure person saying, right, I'm going to meet with you once a week for the year. And I'm going to show you, that you can trust me. And I'm not going to abandon you. I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to support you through all this that you're going through.
And so how do people reach your services? Are they referred in from schools and from social services and things like that?
Yeah, so we have a range of different referral routes, really. So we have parents. They come to us and they say, look, I have my daughter needs some sort of mentoring. So we have, and they've heard it from a friend, or a lot of the times their friend's daughter has been mentored. And so they will then say to us, oh, we've heard, my friend recommended me to you because you've worked with, their daughter. We have self referrals. So a lot of the older girls now we have coming in, they refer themselves.
Mm.
We have CAMS referrals, because the list is so long, and they go, actually, can you help us out a bit? Or we also sometimes have CAMS referral at the end of it. So they've done the counselling, they've done their sessions with the young person, and they think that the young person just now needs something a bit different. So we have CAMS. And then we've got statutory, so social care, social workers, early help teams, they get in contact with us. And we have schools as well.
Mm.
So we have
So
got lots of different channels,
yeah, lots of
ways
different.
of coming to us, yeah.
And aside from the one-to-one mentoring, what other services do you do?
So we do what we call weekly drop-in, which is really nice. We call it Girls' Night. So once a week, the project workers will host a girls' night, and it's really nice to have an open space where girls can come after school. They all come in their uniform, and they just sit down and they just chill. They talk. They have a platform where they can go woo, and talk about some of the things that are going on for them, topical issues. If they had issues at school, girl related, maybe young woman related issues, things that they might need a bit of support with. They have the opportunity to do that. We also teach them some life skills. So they always do cooking. We always teach them some cooking. And we teach them about mental health and how to look after themselves and self-care. So we teach them things like how to make some body scrubs, for example, facial scrubs. And then we also teach them some entrepreneur stuff as well. So,
Oh,
yeah, we've had people come in, talk to them about finance. We've had people come in and teach them some things like making candles, making soap, things that they might want to kind of go on and do in order just to generate an income for themselves, how to do hair, how to do nails. So, yeah, so we have that, giving them the opportunity just to learn different things that they probably would not have done outside outside of their world necessarily. So, yeah. So we've got the girls' night. We also go into schools and we deliver mental health and emotional wellbeing training in schools. And that's really good because we deliver up to 5 sessions. We do primary school now and we do secondary school. So we teach them things like journaling, guided imagery, meditation, how to kind of calm yourself down if you're feeling anxious, what to do if you're feeling, if you've got negative thoughts, body image. So we kind of do a lot of stuff around that and getting them just to feel a bit empowered.
Mm.
And again, teaching them that they can make positive choices about, their life and things in, general.
Yeah, so you're giving them a whole toolbox of things really that they can dip in and
Yeah,
out, which is
yeah,
great.
yeah.
So I know you've obviously confidentiality, but can you share maybe an example of a story of somebody who's been through your program and how they've coped and got through the other side and what they're doing now?
Oh, I've got so many to mention. Okay. I have one particular young lady who comes to mind straight away. She came to me when she was about 14. And I remember her distinctly saying, I don't like people. I just remember her saying that. I don't like people. And I said to her, what do you mean you don't like people? I just don't like people. And she kept attending, even though she said she didn't like people. She got himself a phone, very quiet, and we did assign her a mentor. And she was struggling quite a lot with her mental health. We referred to CAMS, and there was a lot of stuff going on for her. And she continued to attend, continued to come along. And I can't say too much. I'm just thinking about this because obviously, yeah. But she can, yeah, she was being mentored for a very long time with one of our mentees. Brilliant, relationship that they had. Really good. She then went on to university, so she kind of felt a lot better about her mental health. Went on to university, and is now actually working in the health profession. And she also actually works part time for us as well.
Oh, that is a really good story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she came back.
She came
Coming
back,
full
yeah.
circle.
She's somebody I look at and I go, wow. I just remember when you came in and look where you are now. So
Amazing.
the journey, it's amazing, her journey, yeah.
So all charities have challenges with funding and support. So
Hmm.
what are the key challenges that you're faced with right now, and what can the people potentially listening to this podcast help you with?
Yeah, well, it has been challenging in regards to kind of just getting funding in. It's so competitive out there, really competitive. Excuse me. So the key, really, I would say, the key things that we really need support with is like regular donations first and foremost. If we can get people that are happy to kind of give, to regularly donate to a young person, young woman's mentor, in particular mentoring sessions. So the mentoring sessions we do for the year, and obviously the mentor will take them out. They may go for a coffee. They may take them out to a trip. They may take them to the library. Whatever the young person needs. But the volunteer mentor is actually doing it for free. They're not actually being paid to do it. But what we have to do as a charity, we have to cover any expenses that volunteer may incur.
Mm.
So any kind of donations we actually put on the mentoring sessions. That's part of what we kind of ring fence, because we need to actually continue to pay for these sessions. Because if we can't pay for mentors, mentors, with all the best will in the world, they need to have their expenses covered, because it's only
Mm,
fair,
mm,
isn't it? So, and also if the young person wants to go out, or or they want to do something particular that enhances their self-confidence, their well-being, makes them feel good about themselves. We've taken them to, like, for example, a cat cafe, and they
mm,
love that because that was something that they, what really wanted to do, and it helped them with their well-being. It was quite therapeutical. So any funding that we have, we actually just say to all donors and regular donors that will actually go towards a young person's mentoring session.
mm,
And that's kind of what we always use our funding for, to help towards that, any regular donations. And we're really interested in kind of possibly partnering up with some corporations, organizations that possibly may want to kind of do some kind of corporate sponsoring, corporate responsibility. So we'd be really keen to do that. If there's anybody that, any organisation or corporation that would like to kind of partner with us, and we would also say, it's not just about them giving us, but it's something that we can give back to them as well, and kind of working in partnership with them. So whether or not we have our young people come to them, do some work experience and support, so it's also that partnership work that we're really looking to do as well.
Well, that sounds great. So, how did the Best Business Women Awards get onto your radar last year? And let's talk about awards generally, the impact they
Yeah,
make for you.
it was absolutely amazing actually, because I was told I was going to be nominated for the Best Business Award. Um, that came, we were flagged up about it by our lovely patron Rachel, who said, "Oh, there's a fantastic, gala awards that I think you'd be great, to kind of come along to." Um, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Never, that was lovely. I've never heard of it. But what I did really like was about the information that was given to me beforehand. I really liked the session that we had to attend. I can't remember the name of it though, but the little breakout rooms that you attended
Yeah.
prior to the session. That was really helpful, really nice. And I really felt at ease actually, because I was feeling a little bit nervous prior to that. So although I have done other awards, it wasn't as a big a scale, no way, as this. It was like, like our little community or borough awards that I have won, but this is like the biggest where I was actually nominated. I've not been, and in a list of categories, that's not actually ever happened to me before. So and it was just such an amazing experience. The whole, from start to finish. When I was told, "Oh, you've been shortlisted," I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." To actually the actual award itself, it has been brilliant. It's been really good for our social media exposure. It's been great for our grant funding applications, because it's something that we can put down now. It's good to, it kind of, you kind of feel that you're doing the right thing, and you're doing the right thing, but just to have that third party validation which says, actually, you are doing the right thing and you're doing a great thing. And that's really nice. And that kind of allows you to go, okay, we're on the right track, even though we know we're on the right track, but sometimes you just need somebody else who's not
Yeah.
associated with us to go, yay.
It was a big year for you, wasn't it, last year? Because you had your 10th birthday.
Yeah, it was lovely. A 10th anniversary. Just an amazing thing to happen on our 10th year. It was absolutely fantastic. It just made the whole year, because we'd celebrated the 10th year, which I can't believe is 10 years, because I can't believe that it feels like I just set it up the other day. I
Mm.
can't believe where the 10 years has gone. It's amazing. But it was lovely to have that kind of recognition. It was lovely on the actual award ceremony, because we had lots of the young women who have passed through, they're a lot older now, so they're in their 20s, and who started with us. Some of them actually were hit with me in the first year, who'd received mentor in the first year. And they came along to the awards and they were talking about where they were in life. They'd done their masters, some was teaching, some had set up their own businesses. It was just so lovely to hear, them come back and give their testimonies. And it was lovely for the younger girls to hear who were there, because they
Mm.
were like really inspired by these young women who had come back and also had traveled through the journey of Ashdon Jazz Academy. But it was just so lovely to celebrate, and we celebrated our patron. Rachel came along. It was just a fantastic time, really lovely. And then on top of that, to get the award later on in the year was just really just the icing on the cake for Ashdon
Yeah.
Jazz.
Yeah, big year, 2025. So you
Very,
mentioned that you had done other awards, and I think it's important to acknowledge these other awards because local awards can play a real part in getting you that valuable publicity and awareness, can't they?
yes,
Especially
they
if you're
can.
in the early
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, definitely. At the very beginning. I mean, I was there's a CIC called Inner Strength Network, amazing organisation. They work with women who are experiencing domestic violence, and they also work with women who are refugees who are experiencing domestic violence. And they too work with young women. And they recognised me and provided me with an award, which is lovely.
Wow.
It's called the Inspiring Woman Award, and that was great. I then received borough-wise awards from Merton.
Hmm.
Again, a great borough, really supported. They've really supported me on this journey. Actually, Merton Borough, I have to say. There's a voluntary organisation. They called it, they called it Merton Connected. but they have been absolutely amazing with support. They were where I started. My first kind of day as in my charity was at Merton Connected, and they kind of gave me an award. And what was nice as a result of the award as well, we then received an awards for the volunteers for
Mhm.
my charity for Merton. So as well as the best business woman award, we also received something from Merton just to recognise our 10th year as well. So not just for myself, but for the volunteers, which is great.
How many volunteers have you got?
We have about 30. Yeah. So we kind of maintain 30 volunteer mentors, but we've also got trustees. We've also got people that work on a fundraising team,
Hmm.
that organise the events and supports the events. And then we've got what we call our community. So people that have been with us from the very get-go, and they, want to pull up their sleeves whenever there's anything that needs to be done. We still class them as our AJA community.
So when you set up Ashdon Jazz,
Mm-hmm.
did you go out to your existing mum friends that all had sort of teenage girls at the time? I mean, who did you reach out to initially for support?
Well, it's really funny because basically when Ashton died, I mean, the amount of people that came forward for me, people that I didn't know, there
Hmm.
were strangers, people, mums that were saying to me, oh, my daughter's done, has tried this. I felt very alone initially when it first happened because I thought she's 14,
Mm,
she's so young, you know, why me? Why me? I've always thought I was a good mom. You have all those kind of guilt feelings. And I felt very alone. But I had lots of people reaching out to me when Ashton passed away, just loads. And it was, so when we then said, right, after the bit of time that we're going to set up the charity, we'd already kind of formed this kind of group
mm.
of people that were there ready to go. I remember we done our first fundraiser, our first walk, and I think we walked from Balham, southeast London, all the way through to Croydon, I think it was. And
Wow.
we had about 20, 30 people that were happy to kind of just join in and put on these tutus and done this sponsored walk all the way through. Yeah. So already, and then we've always just had people just behind us, just supporting us because they kind of understand, mental health can be such a hard and difficult and challenging thing as a young person, and everybody knows. And it's sad because everybody says, oh, I've known somebody who, attempted
Mm.
suicide, or I know somebody who did commit suicide. It's always somebody that knows. It's always somebody that knows. So I think it's a subject that's quite close to a lot of people's hearts.
Definitely. Oh, absolutely. And so
Hmm.
those early years, how did you kind of come up with the ideas for the services that you were providing? Because that must have been something that evolved as time went on. You identified those different groups that needed your support.
Yeah. So initially, I kind of felt, although me and Ashton was very, very close, I used to call her Mini Me, where you saw Ashton, you saw me, and vice versa. I felt that possibly if she had had somebody neutral
Mm,
to talk to, she may have then gone, oh, actually, I feel a bit like this, or I feel like that. Because I
mm,
was just a mum that was like, right, I'm going to the school, or I'm da-da-da, I felt that she probably
mm,
didn't feel this because she knew that I'd be a bit like, ooh, on it. And I just felt maybe possibly she had a neutral body, somebody that she could confide in, that she may have probably possibly told them how she was feeling. So that was in my head from the very get-go, because I was like, how would she not tell me? Because she tells me everything. She did. She
mm,
literally told me everything. So I was like, how did she not tell me? So then I thought, wow, say that there was another young woman who was going through the exact same thing as Ashton. What would it take if we could just give her somebody different to talk to, not, because she might then be able to open up. And I'm not saying mums don't listen, because we do, we're very good, we're mums and we want the best for our children. But sometimes we can over worry, we can ask 100 million questions. We don't always have. So I just thought, I kind of see it as more of a, like a village to raise a child, not just so it's more that village mentality. So we work alongside. So even when we do the mentoring side of it, we always get the parent involved. We always say, look, this is not just, this is with you. We're not doing it to you. We're doing it, with you and to support you as a parent in this. It's not just
mm.
because your child doesn't want to hear you, or your child doesn't want to talk to you. It's literally just another person that your child can talk to. And so I decided that what we would do is then do the mentoring and provide young women with mentors. And I always was adamant. I said, right, I will provide the mentors, but I will not mentor at all.
Mm.
I said, I will just provide the mentoring. I said, I can't because me and Ashton always used to go everywhere together and we've done so much together. And I said, it would just remind me
Mm.
of not having Ashton around. And so I said, oh, let's get 10 mentors and we'll match in. And so many mums came to me and said, oh, we want one of those. Can we have a mentor for my daughter? My daughter needs a mentor. Straight away, they were like, because everybody was really worried about the fact that, this had happened to Ashton and their young women had shown signs of depression or bullying or,
Mm.
online, so they were like, all right, well, I know that my daughter needs this. And there wasn't just anything going on in the areas that we, were targeting at the time, to be fair, for young women predominantly. There was a lot of things for boys and young men, but there wasn't anything specific for young women. So we just said, yeah, so let me do that. And I decided that, we were going to do this. I think we had about 11, 12 young women at the time. And like we only had about 10 mentors. We kind of interviewed them and there was like, we needed one more mentor. And I was like, oh, okay, we need another mentor. Should we wait for a mentor? And I said, I'll tell you what, let me do it for a little while. As hard as it is, I just wanted it to go, to get running. And I ended up mentoring this young woman and I mentored her and it was just such a um,
Mm.
healing
Mm.
tool, strategy, way, because that was and I loved it. It just, I could connect to her and help her. And as well as that, I felt like I was connecting to Ashton.
Mm.
I felt like I was helping as much as I could. And yeah, and I went on to mentor many young women after that. And I still mentor young women even now. Yeah.
And how many women a year does your charity help, roughly?
Right. So we've helped just since we started, we've mentored about 600 young women over the course
Wow.
of time. And that's just the mentoring. That's not talking about because we do girls night, as I said.
Mm.
And we have taken girls I haven't mentioned, but we do take them on residential trips as well.
Oh, wow, do you?
Yeah, we took
That's
a, we
nice.
took 16 young girls to Gambia 2 years ago. That was great.
Hmm.
So we've taken them to residential trips, and we also do half-term workshops. So during the Easter holidays, Christmas holidays, October holidays, we also host a range of different projects, activities for the young girls to get involved in. So yeah, so we've got loads, and then as I said, on top of that, we go into school. So yeah, we've mentored about over 600, and roughly we've managed to, I would imagine, easily 300-400 young women, in
Mm.
all the different other mentoring stuff that we've done, all the other activities that we've done with them as well.
That's amazing. You must be so proud of that. That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm more proud of the young women because I
Mm.
just think, you know what, you come into Ashdon Jazz, you share your stories, you share what's going on for you, the parents, you're sharing their difficulties, and I'm just so proud of them because the fact that they actually trust us enough
Mm.
to support them on that journey, you
Mm.
know, and to trust us that if things are gonna, we're gonna make it better, and we're gonna make it better. And that's what I'm really proud of. I'm proud of the young women. I'm proud of the young women that go through that and come out the other side and, they're feeling
Because
better
I
themselves.
think there are so many issues in society now. It is
Mhm.
so hard for young people because we've got this whole culture of everything's on phones, everything's on social
Yeah,
media, and we don't live in the same society that we grew up in, where
no.
I think that we've got a bit disconnected, really, because we spend more time on our phones and more time on our computers than we do you know, interpersonal skills are kind of,
That's it.
that's what I've noticed from the young people that
Yeah,
I've taken on in my business in the last few years, is that they struggle with dealing with people in person because they've
yeah,
grown up in a culture where they're tapping out messages on their phone.
yeah,
In fact, one of the young people that worked for me a few years ago, I just took it that, oh, can you go and phone up these customers for me? And she just looked at me and went, I've never spoken to somebody I don't know on the phone before.
yeah,
This is a 21-year-old.
yeah. We get
I
it
was
all the
like,
time.
yeah, things like that. So the work
Yeah.
you're doing is incredibly important. And I guess there's a lot of more society pressures about how you look than there's ever been before. Do you think? I think for young
Oh,
women,
100%.
pressure.
So the pressure is intense for, the young women we have coming in. Is the image, it's the kind
Mm,
of relationship pressures, it's
mm,
academic pressure is massive.
yeah,
We
yeah.
found that really much, so much after the COVID, and the cost of living. I mean, it's so intense because they felt that they were behind. They had to catch up. It's getting into uni. It's passing this exam, and yeah, that is really, that's been a big thing for the young women. Is a lot
Yeah.
to do with academic pressure, and there's a lot of family breakdown. Sadly, that's another pressure. We've had, self harming is a big thing for our young women. The fact they don't feel good about themselves, mental health, self confidence, not feeling confidence at all about themselves and what they're doing. We've had a lot of young women who experience bullying, so it builds up trust issues. They don't feel good about themselves. They take on board what the bullies have said, and it's
Mm,
yeah. So it's massive. It's a really big pot of things that we deal with.
yeah. Yeah, because it's not just one thing,
No,
you know.
it's one and lots of other bits and pieces, but we always like to try and examine what the root cause is. Where did it start for you? And those are the
Mm,
conversations we have the young women. What's kind of brought you to this uh, point? And there we kind of work backwards, and then we work from there, really.
mm. And how do you go about selecting mentors?
So the mentors come to us. We always ask that the mentors have had some either lived experience or worked with young women before. And we do DBS checks, they do interviews, not credit reference checks, sorry. We do interviews,
See what you mean.
reference checks. They have to pass their safeguarding and they have to pass an interview. And then we do a training assessment.
Mhm,
So that involves them kind of coming on to the training session, but we would assess them whilst they're doing the training to
mm,
ensure that they would be suitable to meet with a young person. Yeah, because we're very much about safeguarding our young people. They're vulnerable, so we need to make sure that
mm,
whoever's we're sending out to work with them are equipped to do so,
mm,
and we can trust them to make sure that they enhance and improve that young woman's life.
mm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, what have you got planned for this year? We spoke before we went to record the interview that you are planning another gala ball event.
Yes, we have another Ghana Awards coming up again. We're going to be possibly doing that in May. We're in the process of planning and putting that together. It's just a time for us to come together to celebrate what's been achieved, to raise the profile of the charity, to celebrate the young women, and we also like to celebrate the volunteers and the mentors and say, "Well done, thank you so much for what everybody's contributed." Yeah, it's a real coming together time, celebratory time. So yeah, we're going to be planning that. And we do plan on having a few more fundraisers throughout the rest of the year.
So, what sort of fundraising events do you do?
So we've got one plan, one that we're thinking about doing, or what we're planning to do is one we call a silent disco.
Oh,
Yes, we've got a silent disco coming up. But that's all, we have a fundraising team that are organising that. We wanted to do a high tea. So
hmm.
that's another one that we've got coming up. So it's all
Good.
going to be slotted into our calendar, yeah, to do for
Fantastic.
this year. So we do quite a lot of fundraising. We've done quite a lot of fundraising. We've done sponsored cycling. We've climbed the O2.
Oh my
We've done
goodness.
walking. We've walked the amount of ways we've walked. Um, yeah, we've done quite a few. I'm just trying to think now, but we have done quite a lot. We've done like fates and we've got the girls to make soaps and sell soaps.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So we've done quite a few fundraising activities, and we believe very much in also generating our own funds as well as trying to
Mm,
go through grants and donors. We try and make sure that we do lots of different ways of bringing in the income to support the young women
mm.
that we have coming to us.
So, what does the next few years for the charity look like for you? What's the kind of aims and goals for the next few years?
Okay, so the aims and goals is that we are continuing to get referrals for young women.
Mm.
It doesn't stop. We've got waiting
It's
lists.
not going down, is it? I
It
presume.
doesn't go down. So our idea is really just to expand the mentoring and to ensure that we have, adequate a number of volunteers to be matched with the young women, because we don't want to say to any young woman, no, sorry, we haven't got anybody or we can't do it just yet. They come to us, in urgent need,
Mm,
and we want to be able to help them as quickly as we can. So that we are hoping that we, get more volunteers, because as I said, it's quite tricky at the moment. because people want to, have to give their time, and
Yeah.
they have to be able to. It's an hour each week, and it's quite a big commitment to ask. So that idea is that we expand our mentoring services. So we're not expanding to any other different areas, but we're expanding where we are currently. The other thing that we'd like to do in our big vision is to actually create a hub, create a nurture hub for our young women. So at the moment, currently, we are renting our spaces, but what we'd like to do is create our own Ashdon Jazz Academy hub where young people can be involved in kind of developing that and come into that. That's their safe space. At the moment, we are having to kind of rent and hire different spaces, which isn't great when you kind of want to have a confidential, conversation at times. So we'd really love to be able to develop that area, our own area and our own space. So it's just solely for what the work we do.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, wow. Incredible. Well, it's been lovely chatting to you today.
Thank you.
Are utterly inspiring, and I think a model for other women who've been through a tragic event in their life. It's not really an event, is it? It's a lifelong event, really. It's not a one-off. And you've
No,
turned something so tragic into something so positive. And I think, like you said on your video at the end of the awards, your daughter will be looking down, cheering you.
she would.
So thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining me
Thank you for the
today.
opportunity. And I really appreciate and value, the platform that you provided for Ashdon Jazz Academy. We really do appreciate and value. And even just being nominated was just such a privilege and an honor to even then win it. I can't, I'm still in shock. So just want to say
Oh,
thank you for that. And
you're
thank
very
you for
welcome.
recognizing
You're
that.
very, very welcome. And you will be our charity this year at the Best
Yeah.
Business Women Awards in October. So it'd be lovely to welcome you back. And you
Thank you.
won't be sitting there nervously thinking, will it be me to be picked?
No, 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 no. No.
Definitely
It's
share more
exciting to come back
information.
in a different, yeah, in a
Yeah.
different position role, as
All
it
the
were.
charities
Yeah.
always say that. It's always lovely when I come back as the charity of the year.
Yeah.
So, if you are listening to today's episode, we will make sure that Trisha's details are in the show notes and information about the charity. And if you are listening and you would like to donate to our event in October or to some of Trisha's other events, get in touch if you can help in any way, shape, or form. Get in contact with us or Trisha and pledge your support to what is a wonderful, wonderful charity making a difference to so many young women's lives. So, thank you for joining me. Good luck
Thank
with the
you.
charity. Good luck with the events this year, and we'll see you in October.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.